We'll talk about functions of eggs. So apart from nutritional value, of course, eggs have very high nutrient value. Apart from that, what are the other functions that egg has with respect to cookery or bakery? First thing, of course, that it coagulates. Egg helps in setting any product, which is why you have either savory custards, sweet custards, a lot of puddings, cakes. All of these are based on setting of eggs. And now we are talking about the functions of eggs. Now, one very important function of egg is the aeration aspect of it. The egg white has got the propensity to become into a cell, to be able to incorporate a lot of air. So when you beat up egg white, it becomes frothy. It becomes like a froth or foam, and that is the principle which is used for making all different kind of your meringues. Last semester we talked about different kind of meringues, including French meringue, Italian meringue, and so on. And the third function would be that of the yolks. The yolk is rich, very rich. Rich because it's high in fat also, that makes it rich. So wherein any point wherein you want to give a feeling of richness, for example, if you're talking about a French custard, then you're talking about using more of yolks, right? In contrast, a regular, let's say a regular creme pâtissière, you can use more of egg whites or whole eggs also, or even for regular custard you can use whole eggs. But wherever you are looking at making a richer product, you want to use more of yolks, either only yolks or a combination of yolks and whole eggs. Eggs are available in form of egg white powder, egg yolk powder, whole egg powder, and of course fresh eggs. So these can be reconstituted also as and when needed. Yeah, so we are talking about eggs. The eggs, you'll find this topic in Professional Baking, the file which I have shared with you all, page number 47 onwards. Page number 47 of the book Professional Baking by Cordon Bleu. So herein, if you look at this structure which we have discussed last semester also, we have the shells, which is the outer part of the egg which we normally all see, and then you have the thin white, the thick white, the yolk within. The yolk is suspended using the chalaza. See that the chalaza over there, and the air cell, the size of it is what determines how old or young the egg is. If it is older, the air cell gets bigger. So what happens is, once the air cell becomes bigger, it actually it also indicates that the white is becoming thinner. So what happens is, the difference between a fresh egg which has been laid just the same day, it would look like this when it is broken. In contrast, the older it gets, the white it tends to spread around. It tends to spread out in this fashion, right? The other test that is there for eggs is either the candling test, which is holding the egg in front of a candle to see the amount of air that is visible, or you have the glass test, in which you put it into a glass of water, and if it sinks directly and it lies down while it is sinking, then it is a fresh egg. If it stands, then it is not so fresh, because the air bubble, it's like pulling it upward. So that's why it's not lying down while it's sunk. If it floats somewhere or it's midway through, of course it's a stale egg, right? So technically there's not much of a problem in terms of using eggs in terms of bakery, even if it's a little older. But in terms of food production, when you're talking about egg for breakfast cookery, they require to be as fresh as possible, because the difference is very clear. Eggs, now the eggs are made of water, protein and fat. As you can see here, you have the composition of the whole egg. You can see there is about 73% of water, 13% of protein and 12% of fat. That's what the whole composition of egg is. Talking about grades, we will stay by the US grades. The US grades, you have AA, A and B. AA has got a firm white and yolk that stand up high. So this is what we are talking about. This is a AA kind of a grade of a egg. So the higher it stands, the better the grade. The flatter it becomes, the lesser the grade.
If I had to judge how good technically a chef is, I probably would ask him to do an omelette. It is difficult to make a real good omelette, and there is different type of omelette. I'm going to show you two type of omelette.
So I would recommend Jacques Pepin omelette. You require to see this in terms of the technique that is being used.
A kind of country French omelette, which is basically the way we do it in America, and then a classic French omelette. One is not better than the other, it's just a different technique, a different taste, your skillet rather.
All right, we are doing a French omelette at this point.
I have a great amount of heat on that pan, and
heat
this
it
is
up
what
over
I want
there.
for an
He has
omelette,
put in
and as
some
you
butter.
see, it is a
See, what is very critical is, now look, he has beaten the eggs over there, but he adds some butter also into the eggs. That is a very critical difference that makes the omelette different.
Very low setting if you want to simmer something. So there again I have 4 eggs. In that omelette this time I put a little bit of chive, actually a classic omelette fines herbes omelette in France. You have chive, parsley, tarragon and chervil, which is a classic omelette, but this one just a chive omelette. So you can see here that my pan is hot, but I don't want it as hot as the other one. So again, we put it in there, and now, contrary to what I did before, just letting the eggs get into large curd, here with the bowl of the fork, I want to bring
it
this
looks more like a scrambled egg actually at this point. Something like the burji. But look, setting it only partly.
About at the end of it, like now, I want to bring all of the mixture I bring on this side.
Onto
you
one
can
side.
See, basically everything is there. That is, instead of having one layer, which I roll like a carpet, everything is there. Run my knife around, bring back the lip, and you can see here, I want to have a nice half moon shape. Run this behind to bring back that lip. Hit it there, which you can see, bring it up. Then push it down. You want a nice corner, and you don't even want to brown it further. This is the time between the lip now that you would want to stuff it, if you have some type of stuffing. We change hand again. Bring that this way.
Observe the grip.
Next,
The grip is very important.
bang it to have it to the edge of the pan, then invert it to have
And that's done.
an omelette, a classic omelette, which should be white like
Look
this,
at that.
or pale yellow.
No coloration over
Just
there.
pointed at the end, like this, smooth.
Now look at this. I have googled for scrambled eggs. Now if you look at this particular picture, this is what I would say very proper scrambled egg is supposed to look like. It is glossy, juicy, semi-set. You see, it is not got that coarse look to it. There's a gloss to it. There's a finish to it, and that is there because it is not fully set as what we do while making our egg bhurji. I'm sure you all are very familiar with this, the standard fried egg. Technically, there is no difference between a fried egg and a bullseye. Now, unless sometimes they put in 2 fried eggs together in a single, so it looks like 2 of them together. That's one way of calling it an eye. But otherwise, if you look at a target has got many concentric circles in it, which makes a fried egg looks like bullseye. So a fried egg and a bullseye, technically there is no difference to it. Here is an idea of a good fried egg concept, which you are putting it into a bread which has been made into a hollow. Maybe you can try it at home. These kind of eggs, these are not really fried eggs. These are Mexican or Italian preparations which are there. One of them is a shakshuka recipe, and there's one more which is called whoever's rancheros, right? And that is basically ranch style eggs, which are essentially poached or simmered in a tomato based sauce along with sausages and avocado and lots of other Mexican goodies. poached egg. You see, this is what a poached egg looks like. You see, there's nothing which shows any symptom of whether it has been fried or not. This has been cooked in water. So obviously there is no fried mark that can go along it. The top also, there is a thin layer of the albumin that covers it, which is why it looks little slightly opaque, translucent kind of a thing. But inside what you have is liquid. It is liquidy inside. That is the classic poached egg, how it is supposed to look. It is supposed to look translucent, and it has got a liquid inside. So when you break it open, it has got a liquid interior. One of the more neglected common products is the boiled egg. A boiled egg, it requires to be perfectly yellow. If there's a dark ring which is there at the edge of the yolk in the center, then you know that it has been overboiled, and that is because the reaction of the of the sulfur which is in the white, that reacts with the iron which is there in the yolk, and you have iron sulfide formation over there. So eggs are cooked over different time, boiled over different time. Now you see, we talk about a 5-minute egg, a 6-minute egg, a 9-minute egg, and so on. So actually, right from 3 minutes onward, you could have different kinds of soft boiled eggs, which are also sometimes called quarter boiled eggs and half boiled eggs, and so on. So they are called 3-minute eggs, 4-minute eggs, 6-minute eggs. This is egg which is served in its own shell. It could be served in its own shell. So there's something about the size also that we require to note, and that a large egg which is graded as size 1, which would be about 70 grams, and the smallest one, the size 7, which is about 45 grams. An easy way to remember of the egg is average egg is about 50 grams, wherein 33 is what I had said. In this case, they are saying 28. 33 and 17 is the standard ratio of white to yolk that we have that we require to remember. 33 and 17. Now when I say Ande ka khagina, these are the images that are returned to me by Google. So here you have Anda Burji also, that it says is close to Ande ka khagina. Yeah. Or else if you were to say, let's say if you were to look at Akuri, Akuri, Akuri. So Akuri also, it talks about, yeah, pretty much scrambled eggs, and they are talking about Parsi style scrambled eggs actually. Yeah, high on coriander, you have got turmeric, salt. Akuri on toast is a very typical dish which is found in coffee shop recipes all over, at least west of India, most of north of India. Akuri on toast. So Akuri, Ande ka khagina, they are all pretty similar, and there are variations of the scrambled egg.